It was January of 2015 when I hit the rock bottom of my life. My health was deteriorating. My cholesterol, my blood pressure, my insulin levels were skyrocketing. My relationships were failing. I was lost, alone, I didn't know what to do. But I knew I had to find a purpose. I had to branch out. So instead of getting in the habits of alcohol and drugs, I started to meditate. I started bringing mindfulness practices, meditation in my life. I started reading books, articles, research papers, and I came across a technique. It was around manifestation, and I wanted to give it a try and see if it actually would work. So I set a goal. I set a goal towards my health. And within 3 months, I lost 30 pounds. It gave me a flavor that anything can be manifested, but I was still not sure. I thought to myself, can this technique really work? Is it that simple to achieve the goals that we want? So I set myself another goal. This time, I took it a notch above. I said, why not set up a goal to run a marathon? I gave myself 3 months, given I never even ran half a mile in my life. Now I'm going to run a marathon. So I said, let's test this technique out. So I went in and signed up for San Francisco Marathon. Really motivated to go and cross that finish line. And within 3 months, on July 26, 2015, I completed my first run. My first marathon in San Francisco. In 550 BC, there was a Chinese philosopher, Confucius, who said, we all have 2 lives. The second begins when we realize we only have one. Crossing the finish line was an opportunity for me to walk into my second life. Now I knew there was something there. There's something to the technique that might be working. So I said, why not start doing research? I started looking into different research papers. I started looking into mind and body connection. Started looking to human body, the connection between our chakras, the energy system that we have. I started reading about the neuroscience, how the brain functions, and how can we rewire the brain. I started to focus on great manifestors in this world. I would start watching interviews, start talking to them. And then I figured out a formula. And I'm going to share that in a second. But one of the researchers I came across was from Bob Proctor. He was an author, and he just passed away 2 months ago. But he spent 40 years researching in the book for law of attraction. He even contributed to the movie, The Secret. And he talked about that our body is a mass of energy at a very high speed of vibration. Everything around us, including us, are vibrating at a certain frequency. So I was like blown away with that theory. I wanted to dig deeper. And I started looking into the ideas that were coming into the mind through meditation practice. And I started to read more about his books and his theories. And he gave a pretty cool concept. The concept was, think of a radio station. Radio station is transmitting music over the air at a certain frequency. The only way you can capture and listen to the music is when you start to tap into the energy. So you have to tune your radio to that frequency to be able to attract that. And then I started reading more about the mind and how to rewire, how to reprogram our mind. There was a study done at Harvard where neuroscientists observed a group of individuals and they asked them to meditate for 45 minutes a day for 8 weeks. And then they did MRI scans and observed their brain matter. Over the time, in 8 weeks, their brain structure had changed. They started having more gray matter into the brain. And that was one of the ways to increase the vibration that Bob Proctor was talking about. Started to connect the dots. If we want to vibrate at a certain frequency, we want to attract what we want, we need to start taking ideas and start to vibrate at that frequency. Then I actually talked to a bunch of different manifestors around the world. One of them that I saw an interview on at an Oprah Winfrey show, which was recorded in 1997, was Jim Carrey. Actor Jim Carrey in 1992 was a broke actor. He had no money, he had no acting gigs whatsoever. And he wrote himself a check. And he wrote himself a check for $10 million. And he dated it 3 years out. And he put down in the memo, acting services rendered. He believed in it so much, and he starts to vibrate at that frequency, that 3 years later, he receives $10 million for the movie Dumb and Dumber. Now I had spent all this time doing the research, and I was excited. I wanted to know more. I wanted to go dig deeper and deeper into that. But this was only a theory. This is all in the books and the papers. I wanted to experience that. I wanted to live it. So what do? I wanted to learn about meditation. So I went to India. And I went to a teacher in India. I said, I want to learn about meditations. Teach me. And he said, okay, I can do that. But there's a catch to it. You have to be present here. Now I'm working in a corporate America, having a family, having responsibilities. What do? Doubts and fears is the only thing that will keep you away from your dreams. So I said, why not? So for 2 years, I signed up for this course. Every month, the first week of the month, I would fly to India for 2 days. I'll fly out of San Francisco on Thursday afternoon, reach there on Friday night, meditate for 48 hours with my teacher, and come back to work on Monday morning in San Francisco. I took a lot away from that course. Besides becoming a million miler on United Airlines, that was one of the perks, I also had an opportunity to create myself my vision book. I wrote 117 pages of my intentions, my affirmations, things I want to manifest in this world. A few years later, 1/3 of the book has already become a reality. And I'm going to share the secret. I'm going to share the art on how you can branch into manifesting what you desire. So the first thing you have to do is ask. Ask yourself, what is it that you want? What are your desires? Ask your mind, ask your heart, ask your body. And then things will start to take place. I'll give you an example. I sat down in my meditations in India and I asked my body, what is it that you want? What is it that you want to manifest in your life? And it wanted to run. It wanted to be strong. It wanted to be healthy. So I started writing intentions about that. I'm running back-to-back marathons in my life. A few years later, I've completed 7 consecutive San Francisco's marathon. And next month, I'll be completing my 8th full San Francisco marathon. Then I asked my mind, what is it that you desire? What excites you? And it wanted to learn, it wanted to grow. It wanted to experience different side and rewire the brain. So I enrolled myself and I started writing intentions in my book that I want to do more research on mindfulness. By profession, I'm a safety engineer. But I wanted to bring the aspect of mindfulness and safety all together. Enrolled myself in a university, started doing my research. Years later, I completed my research in mindfulness safety, upcoming field, and I received my PhD, which was written in my book years ago. Then I asked my heart, what is it that you desire? It wanted to be joyous. It wanted to awaken the child within. It wanted to have fun. And then I started writing those intentions in my book. And next thing you know, I started becoming fun again. I started playing like a kid and started connecting. My relationships around me started to heal, started becoming filled with love and kindness. And then a lot other things have been manifested in my book. So I'm going to share the secret. It's a very simple technique that anyone can manifest what they desire. So first thing, like I said, ask yourself. Ask what is it that you want, then set an intention around what your desires are. When you set your intentions, 3 steps to setting an intention. Keep it short and simple, keep it positive, and make it into a present moment. Once you do that, you start to believe in it. See yourself living that intention in your day-to-day life. Doubts and fears is the only thing that's going to keep you away from achieving your goals. So believe that it is happening right now. Then take actions. Taking an action is the most critical thing that you can do. Without an action, no intention would ever work. When I set a goal, an intention that I want to run a San Francisco marathon, I didn't really sit on the couch and watch TV. I went out there, I started getting my steps in, I started eating healthy, I started training my body, I started training my mind. And then, when you ask, you believe, you take actions, you will receive. You will receive in abundance from the universe. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. It's that easy. I want to share another story with you about intention setting. There's an intention that I set in my book years ago, where I was standing on a stage like this, on a red carpet like this, with the temperature. I felt the temperature when I was writing my intention. I felt the emotions in my heart. I saw this TEDx sign and I connected with a wonderful audience like you. And I wrote it in my book years ago. And thanks to you and TEDx organizers, that intention became a reality as I share my art of manifestation with you. Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is everything. It is a preview of your upcoming life's coming attractions." Imagine a beautiful life for yourself. Visualize it, live it, feel it, and make it into a reality. Thank you, and stay blessed.